Did you know that by the time children get into their teens, 1 in 5 will have a slight hearing loss? And here to give us some tips on how we can minimize the damage is board-certified pediatrician, our very own Dr. J.J. Levinstein. Doctor.
Welcome, welcome.
Yes.
So when can it start? When can we see it decrease in children? At what?
Well, actually, hearing loss can start shortly after birth. Believe it or not, a lot of children's toys are responsible for the beginnings of some early damage to the ears.
Really?
Which, if cumulative, actually can result in this 1 in 5 hearing loss in adolescence. That's more common than obesity in teenage years.
What kind of toys are we talking about here?
Yeah.
Like,
well, any toys that are kind of loud or have intense squeaks. So believe it or not, some of those squeaky toys, if kids hold them right up to their ears, can create sound levels that are above 100 decibels. And if that's done repeatedly, which is known to happen in kids, it can cause some issues. So
I will tell you, my kids would drag all the stainless steel things out from and then bang them on the floor in the kitchen, like then, or take a spoon. That was loud.
What did it do to your hearing?
Huh?
Huh? Wow.
No, but it's true. You know, we find that more people our age are saying huh and turning up the volume on their lives. And it's because intense or loud or sustained loud noise will cause damage to what are called the hair cells. And these are the outer cells of the cochlea, which is the middle ear hearing apparatus. And as sounds get either more repeated, more loud, or more intense, that damage actually travels inward to the inner hair cells and eventually the auditory nerve, which is what is responsible for sending sound to our brains, and can result in permanent damage, sometimes as early as adolescence, but certainly much more common in our very loud world right now.
So are you supposed to test them when they're young? Because I've never taken my kids to get tested for, I don't even think that the doctor has tested them for hearing.
Well, most kids are tested for sensory neural or inherited deafness right in the newborn nursery. And so we're able to screen that 1 to 2 out of 1,000 kids in the newborn nursery. That being said, there are 998 other possibilities for acquiring deafness, including infection and actual trauma to the ear. But actually, our sound trauma in our lives is very cumulative, and we measure that by something called a decibel.
Well, what is the decibel?
Yeah, a decibel is the measure of sound loudness and intensity, and for every 10 decibels that we increase our sound levels, we're doubling the amount of noise.
So what's safe? What's safe for children?
Okay, safe for children is 85 decibels or less. And even with 85 decibels, which probably represents a noisy car ride or an electric shaver, an old-fashioned one that's a little bit loud, we're only supposed to have about 8 cumulative hours of 85 decibels or less.
Well, how do we know what 85 decibels are?
Well, if you're in a work situation where there's loud noises, actually the Center for Disease Control and Occupation and Safety Health organizations actually mandate that the noise levels are not only measured, but if they exceed 85 decibels, that people should wear ear protection to knock those decibels down by 10 to 20.
Well, I was going to say, don't take them to a Seattle Seahawks game.
No,
but it's true.
Sporting events.
Yeah.
I bring my little kids to like the
Not
Laker
only that, but
games.
movie theaters. You go into a movie theater.
Right.
It's my little one, who's very sensitive, covers his ears.
Well, let me give you some examples. So a nice quiet room, you know, with birds chirping outside, that's 50 decibels. The conversation level we're having right now is 60. If you turn on a hairdryer, you're in a hair salon and it's not too loud, that's about 70. 80 is basically an electric razor or a blow dryer right next to you.
Well, that doesn't sound like it's very
No,
loud.
it's not, but if you go to the roar of a crowd in a basketball game, that's 90 to 100 decibels. If you have a loud children's toy, that's 110 decibels next to the ear. So all these squeaky toys and all these tickle me whatever's out there can potentially cause some.
Laker games, but stay away from the squeaky
No,
toys.
but even a nightclub gets up to 120 just because the acoustics are there, or even a screeching subway train. I was just in Chicago and just sitting below the L. I'm covering my ears because in less than 5 minutes, those intense decibels above 100, 110 can permanently damage your hearing.
I've seen parents take their kids to concerts, and I need to have earplugs in mine, and these kids don't have any.
Right.
So I can't imagine what it's.
And that's at the peak of say a heavy metal rock concert or a lot of electric guitar really amplified. That's 140 to 150 decibels. It takes less than 5 minutes for permanent hearing damage. And we know that because we walk out and we can't. Our sounds are muffled. We have ringing ears sometimes for a day or two afterwards. And that means that you've already incurred some damage to your ears.
So I want to address how, first of all, we can address this, but also to bring up the fact that I see, you know, and I'm guilty of this too, putting the earbuds in.
Yeah,
And
I
I'll see my
blast
kids
it.
do that, or they put the headphones on.
Right.
And you can't really tell how loud things are.
Right. So what happens, in our era of MP3 players, where everybody puts them in to tune out parents, tune out bus rides, when they're bored, these earbuds are right next to your cochleas. They're absolutely concentrating the sound there. And because if your MP3 player isn't dialed down to about 60% of volume, you're getting about 120 decibels for hours and hours and hours in your ears.
But when I exercise in the morning and I have in my ears, I can't. The louder the music, the more I can the more aggressive I get in the exercises.
Right.
Am I hurting myself?
You are.
you hurting yourself?
You are. And we know that
work out.
headphones are probably yeah, no. But headphones are probably a better choice than earbuds, just because they do take that concentrated sound away from you.
Right.
But there are things that are called decibel reducing headphones that take 20 decibels down, and they bring you down to 85 or less. And there's some examples right here. They're made for little kids. They're less than $20. You can buy them in any big box or on Amazon. There are little earbuds that actually are quite stylish, that are appropriate for people our age, that can allow us to hear very well, but take it down to 85 decibels or less. And in a pinch, for $2 to $4, you can get little wax earplugs, or I call them Cheetos, but they're just basically, they look like Cheetos.
Yeah.
They're little foam earplugs that you can put in. So we put them in when we go to spin class, just because it does dampen the sound a
You could
bit.
probably do that with the kids when you take them to the Lakers.
Yeah, I didn't
games.
know I was a horrible parent this whole time taking them.
Well, no, but I mean, the key is knowing what to do.
Right,
So
I mean,
I think
it
if
is
you're
loud.
if you're going to a concert, definitely putting in earplugs or headphones. I mean, earplugs are probably cooler for the kids, but I think if you're going to a super loud venue like an air show or a NASCAR race or something like that, you need to double cover your ears. So you not only put plugs but earmuffs in as well.
So when I took my kid to the game, we come out and we're like, wow, our ears are ringing.
Yeah.
We've already been
You've already
damaged.
started the damage, yes. Yeah.
Well, if you want more information on hearing loss in children, you can go to our website and go to our Facebook page as well. And for a special message from Dr. J.J. Levinstein, you can also visit Dr. J.J. at mdmoms.com.